Hello and welcome to today's video project on making gift boxes. In my last video I actually showed you how to decorate the top of these gift boxes with the ribbon and the flowers, but today I'm going to show you how to actually make the gift box itself. And for this video we're going to make this one, and we're going to use a little bit of ribbon and some buttons and make a very nice gift box that if I open it up here you'll see, I get my nails in there, fits together very nicely, and you get a nice clean gift box. This one is a square one, but you can use the same principle that I'm going to show you today to, let's come out a little bit, to make these longer ones. It just depends basically on the size of the card that you use, because the scoring and everything else is going to be the same whichever size you use. Now I started by cutting a piece of card, a fairly heavy card, 15 centimetres by 15 centimetres, and then, if you can see this, if I go in a little bit, yeah, that's better, I scored along the four sides of the card at a 3 centimetre mark. Now you can use whatever scoring tool you happen to have. You can use a hoagie board, you can use a cutter with a scoring mark on it, whichever, but you do need to be fairly precise, because if you're not precise your box will be skew and you won't get it nice and square. Don't sort of think, I can't do it, I can't be precise. You will be precise, that's what the scoring tools are there for, and they'll help you out. Right, now then, once you've done that, you then need a scissors, and what we're going to do is, you've probably seen this quite often before, I'm going to cut along that score line, there. What you need to remember when you cut these score lines is you cut the same on all four sides. Don't then cut there and cut there. Cut this side. I come out a bit, but you probably see better. Oops. Oh, it's not in. You see what I mean? I've cut there, so I'm now going to cut there. Don't go any further than the place where they intersect. Okay, I've done that. Now I'm going to actually fold there rather than that side. Okay, I know it sort of goes against the grain, but it's far better if you do it that way. I'm using a scoring tool, I'm using a bone folder to get nice crisp edges. And I'll do the same there as well. And there. And then this will give me nice crisp edges so that when I make my box it'll fold in nicely, as you can see. Okay, right, now then, the next thing that you need to do it's not critical, but it does help the box sit a little bit better when you pull the flaps in, is I'm going to take a little tiny piece off there. It starts at 3 centimetres and then goes into the place where you cut, and if you can see that, it's a sliver, it's nothing else, and it's wider at one end than it is on the other end. So I'll do that. Be careful that you cut the flaps and not the actual sides of the box, because if you cut the sides of the box you'll have a piece missing from the sides, but if you've got friends they won't notice. I think I said to you in my last video that these actually make very nice little gift boxes. It's nice to have these ready so that when it's time for Christmas you've got everything sorted and ready and you can just slip things into boxes. Right, okay, now then, the way I do the next stage is this. I fold those four pieces in like that, and then I take some tacky glue. Now, I don't use double-sided because you have no time to reposition. If you put it in the wrong place, tough luck, your box will be out of sync. If you use tacky glue, it gives you a little bit of time to actually move things around. It's a strong glue. It bonds in a few seconds, but just enough time for you to manipulate. So I put that down like that, and a tip is when you store your tacky glue, right, store it upside down like that in a bottle or something, so that when you're ready to use it, it should come out fairly quickly. Otherwise, you're there for ages shaking the thing down. Right, okay. Right, not too much glue. That's the other thing people need to learn as well, is that too much glue takes ages to dry. And can you see how much I'm putting on? It's not a huge amount. And when you close it, it will actually squish a bit and go to the edges. Right, now then do that. Making sure it's all nicely lined up. Squeeze, can you see? There was just a bit of movement there with my hand. Okay, that's dry. Then do the same with the other side. Pretty quick, eh? Then this side. And then this side. And then go back, squish down with your fingers to make sure that everything is in place. Okay, and there's the top of your box. Now, what we do next is we decorate it. So for this, I've taken a little bit of this candy cane ribbon, which is available from Craft Fairy, and I've also used 3 buttons, which I'm going to stick on the top afterwards. So let's start with this and how we actually get this into place. What I tend to do is, if I show you this one, if I go back to this one, I put this on the bottom part of the box. So if you hold it there and you turn it over, or actually turn it round that way, can you see in there where the lines are, where you've put your flaps on the inside? If you use those lines as a guide, it's a good way of working out where you can actually put your ribbon. So as I'm going to have it on the bottom half of the box, I want it there, making sure that your Merry Christmas isn't upside down. That's not much good. Believe me, I've done it. Okay. For this size of box, the 15 by 15, I found that if I cut my ribbon at 21 centimetres, it's just about right to go inside the box. So that helps as well. I put double-sided tape on each end of the ribbon, and now I've pushed it in there. There we are. Using my guide, I've got a nice straight ribbon on the front, because quite often these will look a bit skew-iff if you don't get them nice and straight, and it's fairly obvious. When you're making something which is as minimalist as this, you really don't want to do anything else. Now, my next task is going to be to put the buttons on, and there's a little trick with this as well. I find that if you put the middle button on first, that actually makes it a lot easier for positioning your other buttons. So I've got 2 eye buttons here, so I'm going to get them all going in the same direction. And then doing this, it allows for easy spacing. And there we are, there's the top of your box. Now I'm going to actually take the box base from there to show you that if you make them all properly, any box will fit any top. Any base, sorry, will fit any top. That's what I mean about getting them nice and accurate. So what I've actually done for the bottom is, again, I scored my piece of card, but before I scored it, I cut the card so that it was ever so slightly smaller than the first one. I cut it, and the way I did this was by cutting it at 15 by 15, and then taking a 3mm piece off each of 2 sides. Not all 4 sides, just the 2 sides. And then you'll find you've got a square of card which is something like 14.7 that way, that way, that way and that way. Just cut the 3mm piece off there, the 3mm piece off there. Otherwise you'll have a much smaller one and the base of the box will be far too small, sorry. Now, when and only when you've cut your slivers off, then you score it at 3 centimetres on the 4 sides, and you make the bottom of the box in exactly the same way as you made the top of the box. The only difference this time is that you don't need to decorate it. And there we are. Get yourself some nice batting. I find is quite good to sit inside these boxes if you want to make them look a bit more professional. I've actually got a piece inside this box, and I'll show you what I mean. This is just batting that you get from one of the the shops like Dunelm or something like that, and they'll sell them to you. It's really, really cheap, this stuff, but when you buy it and you put it inside your box, it makes it look far more professional because it makes it look like something is presented to you really nicely. And so what I could say is thank you very much for joining us, and you can buy all of these products on craftfairy.co.uk. The ribbon, the buttons, not the card currently, I'm afraid, but these are quick, they're easy, and you can adapt them to suit any occasion, and they do hold really pretty things. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you for the next video.